dollar freak beat.
So the first thing I would do, just like any other haircut, I will go through and cleanse the scalp by shampooing. Alcohol only is able to wipe off so much debris and sweat, so it's just best to treat it just like a regular scalp and shampoo and scrub everything out. Okay, so now that we have the scalp cleansed with the shampoo, we will blow dry it in the long areas with a comb and brush it towards the edges with a brush. It's not required, but this is just what I do. So the second step, we'll cut right here, right this corner where it would be at, and we'll come all the way around, do it on the other side, and trim all of this bald. Only with a trimmer, never with a razor, because if it gets too short, it could actually irritate the scalp whenever you put the nose sweat and the glue on top. So like I was saying, I don't want to go any lower than a trimmer. I wouldn't use my electric shavers or a straight razor, because if you use those, it'll get it too low. And once the glue and the nose sweat sits on top, it'll irritate the scalp. And it probably will last shorter because I end up having to take it off because it'll be unbearable. So what I'm doing right now is measuring the corners to make sure they're even, so that way when I get to the lineup, nothing's just out of place. If you don't measure a lineup, whenever you get through with the haircut, you will notice certain areas that look more synthetic versus natural, because the synthetic hair will come lower on one side as opposed to the other. So now I'm gonna get alcohol to go behind a second time of cleansing the scalp. .99% alcohol is what I recommend to use with this. I'm gonna do a low to mid bald fade just to save room to blend up into the top. I won't work so much on detailing it until the end because you won't be able to actually see how much you need to detail it until you have all the hair on there. I started doing man units just because I wanted a change. I was tired of doing regular haircuts. And that's just an extra value added and a new clientele you can attain, because these types of people probably would be shaving their heads at home, but now you have another way to get them in your chair. So now that I've added alcohol to cleanse the scalp after shampooing it too, I'm gonna put wig protectant or no sweat. You can usually pick this up at any beauty supply, Sally's, or any just regular beauty supply should have it. So when applying this, I like to use a dye brush. What I'll do is I'll bring it down to that line I drew. And just rub it over. It should dry clear. You only need to put one coat of this too. And like I said, this just keeps him from sweating and protects his scalp from the chemicals and the glue. So I'm gonna rinse this bowl out in this brush, so when I come behind it with the glue, nothing's mixed in. Now, I'm gonna add my first layer of glue. I'm gonna add 2 layers. This is Ghost Bond glue, extra moisture control. I got this at the same beauty supplies, Sally's, anywhere. You can get this from anywhere, any beauty supply. So I'm gonna add 1 small drop, just in a straight back direction. And then I'll brush it in. I start right before the line I drew, and I will go to the line with my dye brush, but I don't want to put this on the line because I may go too far. And this glue is very hard to wipe out. Also, once this glue dries, it'll dry clear. So just keep that in mind. Wait until it dries clear and then go behind it with the second coat. On the second coat, I will go the opposite direction, going this way. That's just to make sure I get everything. Now I brush it in. I'm gonna bring it to the line. The reason I bring it right here to this line is because whenever I put the hair on, you want the glue to, this is the hairline, so you want that glue to actually sit on that hairline. Otherwise, his hairline would be peel off. You could peel it right off. Also, I am brushing the glue into the hair. That's so the synthetic hair will actually stick with his hair and it'll be better blended. I'm gonna make sure all the glue is smooth. Oh, if the glue isn't smooth, clumps of it will dry faster than others, will slower than others, and it won't make the bonding process as even as you want it. So go over the line a bit with the glue, so I'm just making sure I clean it up, because if you try to cut that glue with your clippers, you will mess your clippers up, guaranteed. Because the glue won't come out of the blades and it'll tear up your motor. It'll just tear up everything. Your clippers will start dying faster because they're having to work twice as hard. It's like driving a car low on oil. Everything deteriorates faster. And then I'll come behind it with the second coat, and I will go in this direction. So you want to let it dry until it's clear. So now that's just about dry, so we will go from one end, so from one part of his hair, his real hair, to the other side. And do this the same way, just brush this in. Just how we did the last step. Brushing in right here to this hair. I'm gonna go back and add some more glue towards the edges. I don't feel like there's enough near his real hair. So I'm just gonna go back and add some. So now what I'll do is I'll put it directly in the center. I'm gonna stretch it out a bit and let this be my guide. And I'm going to lay everything in the same direction. That way it looks like all the hair is as if it were growing in the same direction. I'm gonna put them as close as possible together. I'm cutting the ends right here because I have a smaller spot right here and I'm gonna run out of hair eventually. Probably not on this head, but eventually. So I'm gonna stick those smaller ones right here where they fit nearly perfect. Improvising. You want it to overlay. So I'm making it where it lays over his real hair and over his hairline. So, like I said, I'm just cutting off the edges that's hanging off, and I'm improvising and putting them in these small areas right here that wouldn't be necessary for me to get a whole nother bulk of hair. So I'm just improvising. As you can see, I have pretty much covered the whole head. Now, I'm gonna press to make sure everything is firmly bonded to the glue. Usually do this for about a minute. Also, if you see any gaps where it looks like you might still be able to see his scalp, I wouldn't worry about those because once you start cutting to blend this in, those gaps will get filled by the hair that's being clipped. The clips will, fragments of hair will fill in those gaps, yeah. Now, I know, of course, the hair won't need to go back this far, so I'm gonna manually clip these off. Do not throw away this extra hair because you could use this for another unit, so I'm just gonna put it back in the bag. Okay, so done with all the gluing and bonding all this. So now what you want to do is blend this top into this area. And that's why I overlaid it like that, because now you can't really tell which hair is which. And that's what you want. So you're gonna go in the direction that the hair is laid. So if I were to go this way, it'd be the end of this whole unit because it would start digging it off of his head. And that would be, it'd be a wrap. So I do have, this is just regular hair. They do have the wavy braid hair type. If he was getting waves, I would use that. I do have that over there. They do have some toupees where, like you said, dreads. You can add a whole, they have dreads that come in braiding hair or wig hair. Of course, you want to match the color as close as possible. So I recommend keeping a variety of colors, because there have been times where I tried to do a hairline extension on somebody and their hair wasn't black. Pretty low around here. I'm gonna have to get really, really close, just because if I don't, it'll look fake. You do want to take your time with this part, because this is the most important part, is blending it. They come get this done because they want the hair to look real, not to look fake. So you're gonna do your best to blend it. The reason I'm taking it short too is because his hair in this area that we're blending wasn't that long to begin with. Had it been maybe like this long, it would be a lot easier. I could keep the top longer. Otherwise, it looked like a ramp on top of his head trying to blend that. You see now that it's starting to blend in a lot more realistically towards the back. Close as you can without actually nicking into the real hair and messing the whole fade up. Pull the hair off because I forgot that and I almost just pulled it out. And again, that would have messed up the whole process. So do not pull the hair, just cut it. I'm gonna get this out of the way right here. Out of the way, this is just a personal preference because it's kind of messing with me not knowing, how far I should actually go. Like I said, this is not the actual line, I'm just getting that off of his face. And I'm pretty sure he wants me to dust his face out too, so. So, I will continue. Now that I got a better, plus if you're nervous, that will improve your confidence seeing that what it may turn out like when you're done. So doing these, because I couldn't see that all put together, it kind of made me a little anxious about if I'm doing it right or not. And take your time doing this. This is the most important part. So pretty much I've got this side just about blended. So I'm gonna use this side as a guide and again, get everything even with how far away it is from the head and come over. It's good that we washed his hair before. A lot of people won't wash their hair, but this is the last time his hair was gonna be washed, maybe for 3 to 4 weeks. So I think it just makes the most sense to wash it today. A lot of people just do the alcohol right here, but I mean, this will still itch, so you want all that to be taken care of because you don't want him running the risk of wetting it and then it coming loose and he has to come back to you and you have to redo everything all over again. It'd be a huge inconvenience to yourself and the client. That being said, these units should have warranty. The first 2 weeks, if it does come up, you know, they should be allowed to come back to get it fixed. Now that we've pretty much blended it in, I got more stuff I'm gonna do, but blended it in, I'm going to, so you can see that line, you can't see it, but I can. The white line is just right there. So I'm gonna cut to that white line. That's why you don't put the glue after the white line, because these clippers are hitting, they'll mess them up, so. I'm only gonna line up the front because I still have to blend it in. I'm not gonna blend those corners in till I line up the, I'm not gonna line those corners up till I blend in the rest of the haircut. Okay, so now that I pretty much blended in the top as best I could to the real hair, now I'm just going back and redoing that fade to get everything to blend in. And as you can see, it's actually starting to look natural now. But I just know not to go no higher than right here, because then I'll start cutting into the hair that's glued on. And again, that'll reset the whole process. And just like you did with the top, take your time with the fade. And this is synthetic hair, so you want everything to look real as possible, so don't rush anything. I also finished doing the front part of the line, but once I finish fading, I'm gonna go back and do this part. You don't want to do it right away. And again, this is why you leave that fade lower. It's just in my preference, because had I took it higher, I guess I could have left it, but you're more likely to cut and glue the higher that the fade is. So the bulk on this side, so I'm gonna go back. Just trim into that. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do to blend, it's blended, but to just make this color better, I'm going to use an air compressor to spray it in. Business card or whatever. And you just spray it on there like that. Now the dye I'm using, I don't really like that, so you have to spray a lot to get it on there, but it does work. Come right here to the side. Spray it around too, just to get everything to blend in all the way. Go behind it with Topic. Remember, Topic just adds a definition. That other stuff was colored, but this adds the effect of there being real hair sitting on top. And same with this one, just spray it around. One more time. Then I'm gonna use my razor. Only right here, because there's no real line right there. You could, but I don't think you'd be doing anything. Just gonna come to that. I'll go behind it with spritz, just to hold the Topic in. And then that's it for that part of the unit, just the top, well, that part of the haircut. And I'll just do the beard. That's it.